last week when we had Jake here, after we recorded the show, Jake had never said he'd never seen The Gentleman before, directed by Guy Ritchie, and we thought to ourselves, how have you never seen this picture? This picture is amazing.
Yeah.
My favorite Guy Ritchie movie, damn near.
Damn near. Not my favorite, but damn near my favorite.
Yeah, it's a personal favorite out of his filmography.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen The Gentleman the most out of all of his movies now, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've seen it the most time, so that has to say something about what I think about the picture.
I felt like we were doing him a disservice by not showing Jake The Gentleman, because I think The Gentleman is definitely a slept-on movie. It came out 2019, right when the pandemic was starting.
Yeah, it's the last movie I saw in theaters before the pandemic started.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was released in the UK in 2019, but then it was released like wide in America like beginning of 2020. So technically we saw it in 2020, but it is a 2019 film. That's when it actually was like released.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, you know. I feel like
it's a great movie.
It's a great movie. I feel like Guy Ritchie gets such a bad rap. Like, just talking to our friends and stuff recently.
Yeah.
I went to Amoeba Records, and they're like, they have a section, it's really cool, it's by director.
Yeah.
They didn't have a section for Guy Ritchie, and I was like, dude, he's so, like, dude, people don't like him. I think he's great. I don't know, I think he's just a fun director. It's definitely personal bias I have, but I think he deserves a little more respect for his movies, because when they're good, they're really good and really fun, and you go to the pictures to have fun with his movies, you know?
Yeah. And I don't think he's just like a one-trick pony type guy. I think The Gentleman sits in an interesting point in his career trajectory, because we have, you know, when he came out with 2 bangers. He's like a young hustling dude, makes Lock, Stock, does fucking Snatch, and he just like boom, like shoots up from there, like rock star filmmaker. And then after that, he kind of like went down a little bit. Like he like married Madonna. He made like The Beach and like Revolver and kind of like
The Island or something. Like
The Island or whatever. And I guess he kind of like fell off a little bit and you know, he had his like some like bangers there and shit. He had like Rock and Rolla, and then you know, he made the Sherlock Holmes movies. But in terms of like trajectory, like when he made The Gentleman, it's like, okay, we're not done yet, dude. We're gonna come back with like a tight little crime thriller, fucking
a little British gangster.
We're gonna come back with the gangster picture, and it just like, I thought he really hit it out of the park with The Gentleman, dude.
Yeah, but also I think The Gentleman really showed his maturity over the years.
Yeah.
It really showed like how he carries himself, his values, what he values as now like an older guy, you know?
It's a new return to form for Guy Ritchie, where it's like he's a grown man now, but he's going back to his roots of like the British gangster films. This ensemble British gangster film, we're following like multiple characters interweaving. I love the time, space, and memory aspects of this film a lot. It's just like so tight, and then right from the beginning you're like in it, dude. You're like in it. You know, when Hugh Grant comes in there and he's blackmailing Charlie Hunnam and shit, and like his dialogue and the way he's talking and stuff. It's
so snappy. It's so quick, and it's just witty. It's what you want from him.
No, it's just tight, and it's just such a good screenplay. I guess we can talk about what it's about. Like, you want to talk about what the movie is about?
Yeah. So the movie is about. So Matthew McConaughey plays Mickey Pearson, who is this American expat in Britain, is basically this huge, renowned friend of the government, friend of the royals, gangster who sells weed all over Britain.
Yeah, he's a drug lord. He's a drug kingpin.
He's a drug lord
in the UK. Yeah.
The way he's able to do it is really interesting, where he's able to gain the favor of children of, you know, royal bloodlines who have all these estates over Britain, and he's able to maintain their estates and take care of them and hide 7 different marijuana plants around Britain, and he sells it. He's like the biggest distributor in Britain.
Yeah.
He holds himself with high class. He enjoys high class things, and he always tries to maintain kind of like a royal presence. Charlie Hunnam works for him. He's his basically number 2. At the beginning, he's getting blackmailed by Hugh Grant because Hugh Grant, the private investigator, has shit on Matthew McConaughey. And that's kind of how the story evolves, with all these different players in the game trying to basically take down Matthew McConaughey's character.
Yeah, because the reason why this is the reason why there's dirt on him is because Mickey Pearson, Matthew McConaughey's character, is actually trying to retire. He's trying to get out of the game, and he needs to find a person to sell his whole business to, so he can like finally retire. Because when he came up, he has like a really violent past and really like built this whole industry, this whole like company, this whole weed network through like from nothing. And now he's trying to get out and he's trying to sell it. And then a lot of people in the underworld, in the drug underworld, see that as a sign of weakness and they want a piece of the cake and they're going to try to take advantage of him. And they look at this as a sign of weakness. But Matthew McConaughey is not a weak guy in this. You know? I think that they take it for granted that he's like a very classy guy. Yeah. He like hangs out with the royals and he's able to like use all his connections. He's very like, he has the gift of gab. He has the gift of negotiation. And he also has like a violent way of going about things if he has to do it.
If he has to, yeah.
Yeah. And he has his own morals. He has his own like structure and principles that he uses in order to like weave his way out of these situations and stuff.
Matthew McConaughey in this movie, he definitely does the Matthew McConaughey presence.
Yeah.
You know, he does the preaching, the slow drawl, still kind of like this like Matthew McConaughey Lincoln ad kind of thing. But it works. You know?
Yeah, he's a classy guy, but he also kind of uses this sort of dazed and confused stoner kind of language in there too. Yeah. Like he's like a man of higher class, and he's a man of the people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he's like Kush, Skunkoda, like some shit that he would say like in like a Dick Linklater movie.
That's so true. Yeah.
The ensemble cast in this is like perfect.
Oh, it's so good, dude. They have so many great actors in this.
It's so good. It's so well casted. Like Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell, Hugh Grant, Charlie Hunnam, his wife in it is really good. Henry Golding.
Henry Golding, yeah.
Henry Golding's great in it. Man, the guy who runs the newspaper. Yeah. Dude. Yeah, it's all like so tightly knit together. All the characters, all the dialogue is just so. It's just like amazing how he was able to write this screenplay like himself, and you can tell he's been like sitting on it for some time. And this was like a real like passion project he was going to come out with after he made like like the Disney shit that he did. Like he was doing like The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and then he did like Legend of the Sword or whatever, the King Arthur movie.
Yeah, King Arthur.
And then Aladdin, and then he's like, no, okay, now I got my chance to make this like movie. I'm gonna get like money for it to make this like movie the way that I want to make it. Like this is definitely a movie that he wanted to make, that he wants to watch, and that his fans would be into from the beginning. Yeah, and that's like the fan, like us, Guy Ritchie motherfuckers have been there. You know?
It's interesting because I believe he has dyslexia, so it takes him a really long time to write something. But he puts in the fucking time to write it. That's the thing that I really respect about him is he has a lot of shortcomings with writing, but he still puts out these like sharp screenplays. You know, I think that's really cool. I really respect that. I can tell that he's definitely been sitting on this for a while. He definitely sharpened up the script over and over and over again. Yeah, and it shows because this is maybe like one of the best dialogues I've seen in a Guy Ritchie movie.
Oh yeah. It's like his tightest film since like his early days, dude.
Yeah.
It's so fucking tight and it's so clean, and the whole like frame story that he does, like the sort of metaphysical movie in a movie screenplay type shit that sets everything up, and the fact that they're jumping around in the story and then it all like crescendos into everything, and like I think it's so witty and different. If you're a film fan, you're gonna like love this movie. Yeah, because of all the rhetoric they use and stuff.
Hugh Grant is amazing in this. I can see why he wanted Hugh, and he would want to work with him again in Operation Fortune. Because
and he was also in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
He was in The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Yeah, that's right. In this one, he really like takes it like full form. Like Hugh Grant is probably my favorite character in this. He's so good. He's so funny too, dude. He's just like every character is like so funny in a way. Like Colin Farrell. Oh my god, dude. He's hilarious in this. And the writing is also like pretty offensive, dude. It's a pretty offensive movie.
Yeah, it's offensive, but it's funny though.
Yeah, he goes out of his way to offend and make you laugh about how offensive it is.
Yeah, like there's some racist jokes in there, but like, come on, can we say that like racist jokes are like funny though sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah. But like if they're done, like the thing he says in the boxing ring. Yeah, he's kind of justifying his jokes in a way, because it's like, well, I believe he did call you a black cunt, but if I'm not mistaken, it was more of a term of endearment.
Yeah,
Something
yeah.
like
He
that.
uses like the word cunt a lot in this. You know, there's like some like derogatory Asian words that come out. But the thing is, it's like, dude, like these characters, they're not like necessarily good people, dude. Like people
No, they're
like
not.
there's people say shit like this, dude. People
Yeah.
actually say shit like that, and to say like, oh, it's a racist movie, I don't necessarily think it's a racist. But I think there's characters in it that are like racist. But like, dude, we're dealing with like the drug underworld here.
I know.
We're not dealing with like
That's so true, dude. Like, they're not going to be the people on Twitter that are going to be like,
no,
you
dude,
know,
no.
like typing like, oh my god, I can't believe this person said this. Like,
Yeah.
they're the type of people that are like out there like killing people.
Yeah,
Yeah?
no, they're gonna have their prejudices, dude.
Yeah.
They're gonna have their prejudices, like in England and shit. Like, yeah, they're gonna say fucked up racist stuff that's like problematic. But I don't know. Sometimes it is kind of funny though, and it's like funny in a way. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe they said that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
blah, blah, blah.
Exactly, yeah. And I think
You
he
know?
intended that too.
Yeah,
He intended
yeah.
for it to be like for of the time audience
Hmm.
to kind of chuckle at how uncomfortable that is that these characters said this in a way.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I love like Hugh Grant, and also like there's like a little bit of like this sort of like gayness to it. That's like
Hugh Grant, Hugh Grant's like, yeah, he's like
very
he's like a
flirtatious.
slut, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's just trying to sleep with like Charlie Hunnam and like, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
there's like
funny.
a little bit of like a sort of flirtation going on with Hugh Grant and like hitting on Charlie Hunnam, and also we gotta talk about Jeremy Strong, dude.
Jeremy Strong, yeah, yeah, dude. It's so weird, dude, when you see him in this because
Yeah.
you're like, I remember when I first saw this, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, Jeremy Strong's in this. I love Succession. I saw it. It's so jarring just how different he is, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, holy fuck, this guy's a good actor.
Yeah, he's such a
Yeah.
good actor, dude. He's such a good actor, and the thing is, like, when I'm talking about like with the flamboyant gay stuff, he's always like he's talking like hella flamboyant, and then he's like, enough foreplay, Mickey.
Yeah.
Show me the good, or whatever he says. Some
He
shit
calls him
like-
Michael. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
enough floor play, Michael.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like, you've been jerking me out. Or he says some shit that's like really, really funny. But he's like a little flamboyant, like American guy, and he has like his like intellectual money financial speech.
Yeah,
He's just
yeah.
like so good at that.
Yeah,
Even though
yeah.
he's just like an actor, but he's so good at like the finance, the business talk. I mean, he does it in like The Big Short, obviously Succession, and then in this, like he's just so like witty with it.
I know.
You
Yeah.
know?
It's so funny because in those three movies, he plays three distinctly different characters.
Yeah,
In Succession, in The Big Short, and then in this.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Like they're so distinctly different, and I'm just so excited to see what he does next. You know, we have to see a movie that Jake and Luke,
Armageddon Time.
Armageddon Time. Yeah,
Yeah.
they love that movie.
No, like so when The Gentleman came out, they had like on the cover of the. Do you want to grab the cover real quick?
Yeah.
So I think it's just interesting to point this out. So in the marketing for this movie, right? It's like Matthew McConaughey, Hugh Grant, Henry Golding, Colin Farrell, and then what's her name? Michelle Dockery, who's great in this. If this movie came out in 2019, if this movie came out now, they would have had Jeremy Strong on this cover.
Yeah,
they would have
would've.
had his name on there.
Yeah.
Like, and they would have been like a marketing tool to use him in this movie. Now he's like huge, and he's also just like a standout in the movie as well. It's like a bunch of standout
Yeah.
performances, and it just really brings it together because every scene in this is like a little skit, dude. It's like a little entertaining skit that
Yeah.
all just like puts in it, and then you have this whole overarching story and narrative that you follow all the way through.
Yeah, and it has the like I kind of call it like the British editing, like the Edgar Wright, Guy Ritchie kind of like Danny Boyle, like really snappy editing style, and it does it really well in this.
Oh yeah. And then like when we talk about zeitgeist, this whole thing where he's going into like the weed culture.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of in this process of like the world is kind of not in the world, but America, like for the most part, it's like legal in a lot of places. We're going through a transitional period from like weed when weed was like illegal to legal.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of have like Guy Ritchie's take on that,
Yeah,
where it's like a thing that's actually happening now where Matthew McConaughey is trying to get out of the drug gang, and it's going to be about to be legal. The thing is that Matthew McConaughey, he actually is a man of principles because he has like this take in the movie where
it's so good.
Weed.
Yeah, I love his take in the movie. I really love the speech he gives where he's like, "You have many vices." To his enemy, and his enemy's like, "You have so many vices too." Like, no, I have one vice. However, my vice doesn't kill people. So I would say your drugs, heroin, cocaine, all this stuff you deal, does kill people.
Yeah,
so you are
destroys
partaking
families,
in
yeah.
your vices.
Yeah, the guy's like, I don't participate in the destruction of lives, and he's like, but you do, and he's like, no, I just facilitate it, and he's like, well, actually, you don't, because the thing that you facilitate, your drugs actually destroy families and kill people. So actually, yeah, you do participate in it.
Yeah.
Like weed is just like weed has its like downsides, but it's not.
The worst thing you're gonna do is get high and call your parents.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You're not like gonna do like anything violent. You can't overdose from it. You can like smoke weed your whole life and like be fine. And there's all other conversations about it. Like obviously it's like a little bit controversial, but it's not really like it's not a violent drug.
It's not gonna take like your son away from you.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean. Like
yeah.
it's gonna give him like he's gonna become lazy and shit at worst.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, there is something to be said about how his principles are really upheld in this movie, and it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I love Charlie Hunnam. We love that scene where he's like, yeah, you guys these days, I don't know what you're packing. Me, I like a good 50-50 split.
Yeah, I love that scene, dude. I love like man. I just love the dialogue and like the classiness of it, and like there's the Guy Ritchie like suits and ties and like making sure you look good, and it's like the suits like have a purpose, like a suit of armor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And like
and
this
the
is a man with-
stakes and stuff.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
Chess. There's like everything you like in Guy Ritchie that he likes is gonna be in this.
Yeah, and he's you know, his principles of like the classy stand-up guy that, you know, we see in all of his
Mm-hmm.
movies, you know, like, and it's like the suits, you know, when you see a guy in a suit, it's like this is a man of like purpose and
Yeah.
shit, and like this is like my like, you know, and just like the way people dress is so cool in his movies, like his wife and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, looks so cool.
His wife's so cool too because she's also just like his partner in it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
She is his queen, you know, as he calls her, and like she's his one weakness, you know, and everyone knows that. But she's such a badass too.
Yeah, yeah. She's actually like a capable. She's not like an objectified woman. Like she's all covered up. She is very sexy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But she's actually like able to take matters into her own hands.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, which is
Yeah.
cool. It's not just like some.
She's not a damsel, you know.
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Like no, she'll like take it there. She has to. She'll get like violent. She'll kill people if she has to. You know.
Yeah.
Which is
And
cool.
I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but the movie opens up and closes with this quote, and it goes something like, "Oh, it's not enough to want to be the king of the jungle. In order to be the king, you must know you're the king. There can't be any doubt about that because doubt causes chaos and one's own demise," or something.
Yeah,
like that.
dude. Yeah, that's so cool. Like
Yeah.
he's so.
And I feel like that's Guy Ritchie's thinking in life. You know, he's like, in order to do something, you must believe that you can do it and do it. You can't say you're gonna do it. You can't second guess yourself. It's like we do with this show, one episode at a time. You do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that philosophy.
Yeah, and I think this is a really good movie. Like I said, like it's almost like a comeback film in his form, and it's not like you can't count Guy Ritchie out. Like if he didn't make this movie, I can kind of see like how he maybe like fell off and maybe became like a kind of more of a hired hand type of director. But he's actually like a passionate cinematic, like a cinephile type dude who like loves movies, and he like actually wants to make good shit. Like Tarantino, you know what I mean? Like Tarantino just makes good shit because he's just passionate about it. Like they're rich guys, like they can just retire and do whatever the fuck they want, but they choose to keep making movies because they actually like are passionate about it.
Yeah, and I'm not talking like this new age picture shit. I'm talking film, 35 millimeter,
Yeah,
anamorphic,
yeah,
or as us in the business call it, 1.35 to 1.
yeah. 23:9 to 1 or whatever he says. Yeah, even though I think the movie was shot digitally, but whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It definitely was.
Yeah. I love this movie. It's my personal favorite Guy Ritchie movie, I can say at this point. It came at a cool time in his like career and stuff, and it's just like a staple Guy Ritchie movie. Top 3, top 2, sometimes 1 for me. Whatever I'll say. Highly recommend. 2 thumbs up. It's lit.
Yeah, and Jake liked it. Jake enjoyed it. I'm glad he enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie to watch. Like you can show it to anyone, they're gonna really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like you can't say that about a lot of things.
Yeah,
But
it's
this
a
is
really fun, fast-paced movie.
I think it is like more catered towards dudes for sure.
Yeah.
Than like, I mean, it's called The Gentleman, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of women characters in this. It is a fun movie, regardless. It is just going to be like a snappy, fun British crime
Yeah,
movie.
it's like made for guys like us. We enjoy that type of film.
Yeah.
You know, it's made for guys like Guy Ritchie. It's made for dudes, you know. But I think women can enjoy it too, though.
No, definitely. That's what I'm saying.
Because it's like classy. Yeah. There's like hot people in it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to another. I really want to see another type of crime movie like this, a Guy Ritchie ensemble British crime thing. Like I want him to do another one. I hope he does.
Well, he's making the TV show, and
is he himself doing it or just producing it?
I think he might be producing it. And I don't think it has the same cast at all. I think it has just like TV cast.
Yeah, it has like that one guy from that one thing from that young adult show, a young adult movie guy.
I don't know, but I am excited for it, and I'm gonna definitely check it out when it comes out.
Yeah, because this movie was a hit when it came out. It actually made a lot of money.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it makes sense. You know, it's a good movie. I put it along the lines of like Lock, Stock, Snatch, Rock and Rolla, and this
Revolver.
Like, I guess Revolver. Revolver's not really like a British gangster movie though. It's like got like the British flair to it, but I feel like it's not really like British gangster. You know?
Yeah, I like Revolver. I think it's like kind of a gem. Like it's not a perfect movie. Like it's flawed. Like people hate it, but like there's something to it it's very philosophical.
No, it definitely is. It gets deep.
Yeah.
But the thing about that fall he kind of had from after Snatch, and there's The Island, and then Revolver and whatnot. Yeah, it was a fall, but you can't say he didn't take swings.
No,
which I respect.
I think like he like kind of was still like a kid, and then he went through his journey to become the man he is today.
Yeah.
And that's like what he had to go through. And with Nicholas Winding Refn, same thing. Like comes out with Pusher, does Bleeder, does Fear X. Fear X flops. He's $1 million in debt. Like how does he come out of that? That's like a real like that's when the ugly duckling becomes a swan. Like that's when a man back against the wall like really has to like do some shit, real pressure, and he comes back, he makes Pusher 2 and 3, and he just comes back and becomes like this sort of like renowned auteur like.
So after Pusher 3 he made Valhalla Rising, and then he kind of took off from there?
Yeah, he made like Bronson, Valhalla Rising.
Oh, that's right.
And he made Drive, and that's when he became like, but he wouldn't have been able to, he had to go through those like that process of like, you know, actually becoming like the man, the filmmaker he is today.
But like every film is so precious to directors, you know what I mean? Like think of Only God Forgives, like how stressed out and how much that like flopped, right? I think in this business you kind of learn your films aren't like what makes you. It's the process of making it that makes you, you know. And I think Guy Ritchie knows that, and I think Nicholas Winding Refn knows that. Yeah,
and they strike out. They strike out sometimes. And like, but they have to bounce back. Like to live like this, you're gonna have to fall off. Yeah. You're gonna have to like take L's, you're gonna have to bounce back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like think about Scorsese, dude. Like fucking almost like just went off the deep end, dude. Yeah. You know, he's not without his faults. He's not without his bad movies. No director is gonna be perfect every time.
No,
because it's such a, like we said, a collaboration between so many different ideas, so many different people, so many different hands-on. It's hard. You can't be consistent.
Yeah. It's very difficult. There's only like 1 or 2 directors that are like consistent like that.
Yeah, but then again, at the end of the day, it's all subjective too.
Yeah.
It can be a perfect movie and people can say, I hated it.
Yeah.
So
for sure, it's all subjective in the art form of film, and the risks and the money and all these different elements come together, and
yeah.
But
fucking another Guy Ritchie picture down, dude.
Yeah, bro.